Hello, sir. How are you? Don't fall in love with wood. That's what I got out of the show this morning. Don't fall in love with wood. I love wood.
Well, we all do to a good degree.
It's nothing like some good wood.
You go home.
Hello, America. How we doing?
Okay. We've got a new manager.
Allegedly. Well, it's not official yet, but, all signs point to a new manager when it comes, coach, manager, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to the U.S. men's national team, Mauricio Pochettino. So 52-year-old Argentine, and I think he ticks a lot of the boxes when it comes to sexy, big name. He's coached at PSG and Chelsea and Spurs. He's well-known, world-renowned.
Yes.
And a lot of people want that type of thing. So pedigree when it comes to his club success and his club experience. Never coached internationally before. Is it an American? Is it an MLS coach? And for a segment of American population, I'm sure they are engorged at the thought of this happening right now. And I'm just excited that they're going to have a new coach because we're less than 2 years away from the seminal moment that is going to be the summer of 2026 in the World Cup. And I want somebody in there that's going to inspire me to believe that we are heading in the right direction towards doing good things on and off the field in 26.
So I laid out the landmines earlier on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, A, you'll be blamed for every loss and draw. That's the way it works here.
Sure.
With our professional athletes, we blame them a lot. We do not blame our soccer stars. Our soccer players for anything. Secondly, I think we have the highest level of European level skill we've ever had. I don't know if we have a ton of grit. I thought the teams that you played for had a kind of Clint Dempsey, a little fight in you. Landon Donovan, little pissy. I kind of like that. I think the skill level now is higher. I think they lack grit. I also said it is very political. There are landmines. You'll never have more leverage than the first 18 months. Use it. It will wane quickly after the World Cup. It always does. Are those fair criticisms?
They are. I think when you're looking at this particular hire, I think it's important to note, again, he has not coached internationally, and that's not a problem necessarily. You look at Argentina, their coach hadn't coached internationally, took them, obviously. Now, he's coaching Messi in Argentina, so this is a different situation. I think that's where it gets into, the interesting conversation, because this coach that you are looking at right here, in his club success, day after day, he is with these players. In an international setting, you do not have that. Sometimes you have 1 or 2 trainings. Sometimes you have hours with these players.
That's right.
And so the detail-oriented nature of Pochettino, which is what he is known for, high pressing, high fitness, that's all fine and well, but he's going to have to switch his mind, a very smart man and a very smart coach, but switch his mind to be able to impart information very, very quickly. And I think that's the big question is, in a very short period of time, not just the less than 2 years to the summer, but in a short period of time that he's going to get with these players, what is he going to tell them? Because he can't do it day in and day out. He can't see those building blocks happening day in and day out. It's got to be raw. It's got to be ruthless, to your point. And I think it does have to be, for lack of a better word, simplified in what he wants to do. And you can't do what you do in a club situation with a national team, in particular in this type of situation.
Yeah, I think this is very well stated. You've got a lot to do very quickly, and you don't get the access to the players that you would a college football coach taking over a program. So if you were taking it over and you could give him 2 pieces of advice, now I'm talking on personnel, not the landmines politically.
Sure.
And you said, listen, he was flying in for the job and you happened to be sitting right next to him. I imagine it would be in comfort class. And you'd be sitting with him, and he said, hey, just give me 2 things about personnel, 2 truths about personnel, about our players. What would they be?
I think these players not only need, but I think they want somebody to come in and kick their ass. I think they want somebody that doesn't suffer fools. I think they want to be challenged. And while they may say they want this, in reality, when it happens, it might be a shock to the system, but it's the best shock to the system that this players. We have, I don't want to use the word coddled, but we have given everything to this generation, and I'm glad. It's a good thing because I think it's going to produce better soccer players. But to your point, what you started out, there also has to be a level of, for lack of a better word, grit, and all these different things that we talk about and have associated with this team. And I think he can come in and say, you know what? again, there are no sacred cows. I don't care what you did before. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care where you play. I don't care who your girlfriend is. I don't care how many followers you have on social media. You need to be able to do it, and it's a wide open field. You want that ruthlessness, and Tyler Adams, one of our good players, has talked about kind of the reality that Greg Berhalter, certainly at the end, kind of gave them whatever they wanted. And sometimes players do need a kick in the ass. I think these players need a big old kick in the ass.
Okay, Gio Reyna and Berhalter had a falling out. To me, I view that as, okay, a little bit of a mutiny behind the scenes. Dad can be involved. Is it fair to blame Berhalter mishandling that situation? Or, I mean, that from I'm watching and reading stuff. I'm not with the team. Just like NFL, I'm not in the locker room. That situation, was that Berhalter's undoing? Because he won almost 68% of his games. Was it the Gio Reyna situation that undid him?
No, I don't think the Gio Reyna situation has anything to do with it. I actually think that he handled that better than most.
Okay, because that got a lot of pushback.
Yeah, but I think ultimately, I think this comes down to not winning. And so when it comes to Pochettino, if he is the coach here, it's going to be down to winning. You know, it's going to be down. He doesn't speak a lot of English, and he doesn't speak, the English that he does speak isn't great. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But again, I kind of want somebody that is going to inspire, and you can inspire in different ways. And I want that ambassador and that pioneer and that person that is going to go out there and be in front of everybody, including the American public, and get us excited about what is coming in 2026. I don't know how much of that he's actually going to do.
Is he a tactician?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he thinks about the game, and he thinks about every little type of detail. And again, that's great, but when you only have a couple hours and a couple of training sessions, you can't get into the minutia.
So let me ask you, one of the knocks on Berhalter, for years and years I've said we don't play like Argentina because we don't have those ingredients, right? Like even Gordon Ramsay, day-old bagels, has limitations, okay? So now I do think our skill level, and maybe I'm hyperbolic here, I do think we have multiple players in Europe flourishing. I do think it was, and this is no affront to what you provided, but I thought we had to play with a level of physicality and grit because we lacked certain things 20 years ago.
Sure.
I don't think we lack a lot. We may not be Argentina or Spain, but we can go toe-to-toe. And Berhalter, the knock on him at the end was, well, he's playing stylistically like we don't have talent, and we should be more aggressive. Is that a fair criticism?
That may be a fair criticism, but it should also be noted that I think what Berhalter wanted when he came in and what he was at the end were two different things. I think he was much more of an idealist when he started and much more pragmatic when he finished. Okay. And maybe to your point, there's a criticism in that he wasn't ultimately a true believer. And
he wasn't a cheerleader.
He betrayed his ethos ultimately, and it cost him his job. So if Pochettino comes in, he's going to have to very, very quickly suss out what this team is and what this team isn't, and say, while I may want to play like this, I don't have this.
What are they?
I think I think it's a mixture. I think they are going to play out of the back and continue to play out of the back.
Explain that to the novices.
So in the past, it was much more live to fight another day. And the way the game has evolved, playing out of the back, literally from your goalkeeper, short passes, trying to break down a team, often teams that press to gain the advantage. But all it takes is one mistake, one bad touch, one bad pass. Yeah. And not only are you losing the ball, but you're losing it in dangerous places. And oftentimes this playing out of the back has become a disease because teams that don't have the skill to do it just put their head down and say, we're going to do it. And they just keep banging their head against the wall. I don't think that this team shouldn't play out of the back, but I do think that there has to be some pragmatism. And the sooner that Pochettino figures that out, the better he's going to be. And in the past with the teams that he's coached, he hasn't really done that. He has been able to do it day after day after day and played in a certain way. And if months into this, he comes to the realization, wow, I wanted to play this way, but I can only play this way. That's a problem. You need to hit the ground running. You need to know what you're getting into on and off the field. Whoever the coach is, if it's Pochettino, he damn well better understand what the situation is and the expectation that we have. This is 2026. Yeah. This is going to be a huge moment, and we need somebody coming in that is going to inspire America when it comes to the soccer culture, but inspire the greater America that this is something to get behind. We're heading in the right direction, and we can be excited when that whistle blows and have a belief that this team is going to do things that we have not seen in the past. And if he's the man to do it, fine, bring it on.
Okay, Christian Pulisic, clearly, eye test, is special.
Yeah.
He is many things. Able to beat, foot on ball, beyond clever. sneaky, quick. He's just a goal waiting to happen. He's an opportunity waiting to happen. If I said to you, give me 2 through 4, give me another 3 of our players that you think are still ascending and can meet Pulisic. Because generally, if you go play in Netherlands or in Argentina, there are ways to defend the star. I mean, Messi is Messi. You need it. I always feel like you need in the NFL, you got to have 7 great players in their prime. You can't be too old or too young. Green Bay was too young last year. Maybe the Niners were too old. You need a core of 4 if you have your goalie right. And Matt Turner, we usually do. We usually have our goalie right.
I think there's some question when it comes to Matt Turner in goal, when it comes to the center back position, and certainly when it comes to the 9. When it comes to Pulisic, though, I think his body has caught up with his brain. He has matured into a man physically, and that's translated into a consistency, and he hasn't been hurt, knock on wood.
Who are our core 4 now?
I think you would go down the spine and you would go with, you would go with Pulisic out there on that left-hand side. I think you would go with someone like Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams, absolutely. And yes, I guess it would be Matt Turner. Tim Ream, from a leadership and elderly statesman type of thing, I think he has moved on. I think Jedi Robinson, our left back, is one of the most consistent. And then I think you have Tim Weah, who over the last cycle, I actually think has been the best attacking player. He is polarizing, but he needs, and a lot of them need to kind of do what Christian Pulisic has done, is that grow into themselves. And in doing so, you're living up to, I don't want to use the word hype, but let's be honest, when it comes to a lot of these players, it is the word hype. And that's a credit to Christian Pulisic, that he has been finally able to have a consistent period of games, not be hurt, but in those games for AC Milan and for the U.S. men's national team, do some incredible things and kind of live up to everything that we thought he was going to be.
I, from time to time, will poke in the ribs the online soccer community.
Yeah, because they won't poke back.
You, similarly, have been willing to, at a KD level, engage with the public. And I think it's great. I like how spirited we are. As I often say, we view ourselves as a 5-star restaurant, and we're a really talented 3. I look at U.S. men's national team as a broken tech company. The talent's there. They don't have the culture right. So, and by the way, somebody buys it, gets the culture right. The talent's there.
Sure. And it's got good bones. It's like a house with good bones. Don't fall in love with wood, but you can fall in love with the frame and the house.
So is that reasonable to say we're a broken tech company? Yeah. We have the engineers. We got Stanford all over the building. I feel like the culture's a bit broken.
Yeah, I don't think it's completely broken and unfixable.
It's not a demo. It's not a demo.
Unfixable. And as a matter of fact, I think that's why Pochettino looks at this as a real opportunity. And I would look at it as an opportunity. I think anybody would look at this as an opportunity. You don't have to qualify for a World Cup. You're coaching a United States team that, to your point, while it has talent, hasn't lived up to that talent. So it's not just a complete throwaway of what am I going to be able to do with this? I think you can do more. You're coming off an epic failure of a summer where they have fired the coach. And you have the opportunity to coach the home team, the host team, in a World Cup that I think is going to be, when all is said and done, record-breaking in terms of the number of fans, obviously the number of teams now going to 48, the money that it makes, and again, the impact that it makes both domestically in the United States and around the world. So that adds up to a pretty good gig to me, all right?
Speaking of gigs.
Yes.
Are you doing paying gigs with your musical talent?
Nobody's going to pay me to do my music right now. And I continue to write and record and to put out music for all 3 of my fans out there, including my mom sometimes. So you can check it out over there on Spotify and do all that. By the way, speaking of performance, I'm going to head up here and go up to the 5th floor. We're going to crank out some digital stuff when it comes to the State of the Union podcast. We're going live right now because this is such a big story. The Pochettino hiring is such a big story. We're going to go live on all the different platforms out there. So you can check myself and David Mossy and our good friend Stu Holden, who is zooming in from his vacation in Mexico. That's how big this story is.
Holden does 2 things. He vacations and calls soccer games.
Right? I have never seen anybody vacation more. It is incredible.
I mean, Paris Hilton's like work.
Right?
I mean, it's like unbelievable.
Get to work, Holden.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.